Just it clicks on so many axes that I love in this format.
Ha un move pool molto interessante, Baby Doll Eyes, quindi vado per l'attacco in priorità se non sbaglio.
So, there I was, sitting alone in the shower for the third consecutive hour in a row, racking my brain on what to build for Series 12 and the upcoming March International Challenge. Gazing into the shower head reminded me of the popular combination of Kyogre and Zacian, otherwise known as Swordfish. Then it hit me. What was one weakness that both Kyogre and Zacian share? The correct answer is that neither of them can lay a paw or large flipper thing on the mascot of my channel, Shedinja. It was time to get cooking. The theory of the team is as follows. You either lose to Shedinja, or you lose to the rest of the team. I wanted to focus on covering Shedinja's weaknesses without being too dependent on the Wonder Guard gimmick. For those who aren't aware, allow me to explain Shedinja's special circumstances. Shedinja has the lowest base HP stat of them all, clocking in at an impressive 1 HP. However, it can only be damaged by super effective moves, which are Rock, Fire, Flying, Dark, and Ghost. Conveniently, there's one team archetype that covers for many of these weaknesses, Rain. However, the issue with Rain in Series 12, and more specifically Kyogre, is that it has an ongoing power struggle with Sun as the dominant team style in a format. Kyogre, when put in the wrong position, can lose really easily to Groudon and its friends, so I need something with a little bit more favorable typing. I decided on Palkia due to its great defensive typing and good offensive coverage. Palkia also helps to cover the few weaknesses of Zacian, a Steel and Fairy type that is only weak to Ground and Fire. Also conveniently, Zacian can actually beat the Rock and Dark types that Shedinja is weak to. Also conveniently, Shedinja can't be hit by the types that Palkia is weak to, meaning that they share 0 common weaknesses, and the theory can be put to the test. With the main core of the team established, it was time to create the supporting crew. No, not you yet. We'll get to you soon though. The first order of business was to figure out how I would manage turn order in a game. For those who aren't aware, games can be determined by how well a player is able to manipulate the turn order in their favor. This can be done with priority moves, raising your own speed, lowering your opponent's speed, or activating Trick Room. For this team, I wanted to remain relatively neutral with my speeds, so I could be flexible both in and out of Trick Room. For this reason, I didn't want one of my mons to be just dedicated to speed control, as they might be left on the bench too much and waste a team slot. I decided the best option for this would be Grimmsnarl, because of its ability to lower my opponent's speed via Thunder Wave, and increase Palkia's or Zacian's survivability using Reflect and Light Screen. But besides that, I wanted a max Airstream user as well, because Game Freak forgot to balance that move. Galarian Moltres was my choice for this, because of its ability to increase my team's speed with Airstream. Moltres was given max speed and max special attack, so it could take KOs as quickly as possible, while also enabling Zacian or Palkia to be faster or do more damage. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. We get to talk about Herdier. I wanted another way to be able to reduce damage, possibly more than just Screens would, with Intimidate Skill. The most popular Intimidator in the format, Incineroar, does have a lot going for it, but it actually loses to a lot of the things that my team has just a neutral matchup with. The other dominant Intimidator in the format, Landorus, suffers from the same issue. I decided I would get a little bit more creative with my Intimidator, and one little doggy caught my eye, Herdier. Herdier has Intimidate, but unlike its evolution, it has access to the Eviolite item, which improves its bulk drastically. For some reason, I knew off the top of my head that Herdier actually gets access to Baby Doll Eyes, a priority move that drops the target's attack by 1 stage. This means that I could potentially put a physical attacker at -2 before they even get to make a move. For my other moves, I just went with standard support options like Snarl, Helping Hand, and Roar, specifically to thwart the popular Mimikyu plus Calyrex Ice lead. Herdier also boasted one unique advantage to Incineroar and Landorus, besides just Baby Doll Eyes: surprise factor. How often do you run Herdier through the damage calculator? The answer is never. This means that I could catch my opponents off guard with either its utility, bulk, or menacing aura. When it came to deciding specific moves and stats of the team, I knew that I would have to be a little bit more creative if I wanted my team to perform well. I invested heavily in bulk on both my Zacian and on my Palkia. The former was given just enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Thundurus at neutral. Palkia held the Life Orb item and had the move Earth Power to make sure that it would always blow up an opposing Zacian with maximum special attack investment as well as Life Orb. Palkia was able to chunk basically whatever it felt like, and take minimal damage in return because of its natural bulk, added bulk investment, and possible reduction from Herdier or Grimmsnarl. Zacian has a sneaky little tech that won me more than just a couple of games. Having Quick Attack meant that I have a priority move on debatably the most powerful physical attacker in the format. This means I could pick off low HP foes before they can deal a finishing blow to a significant member of my team. Instead of running dual stab on Shedinja, I opted for Poltergeist and Shadow Sneak for double ghost. Poltergeist is a very powerful ghost move that also has the added benefit of revealing your opponent's item. Even though Shedinja's attack stat is only base 90, I was able to fully invest in attack because there's no reason to invest in its bulk. Shadow Sneak was able to pick off foes at low health or absolutely chunk select ghost types like Lunala or Calyrex. I gave it the Focus Sash item just in case I slipped up on a prediction, mistimed an ally switch, or I just needed an extra turn to squeeze a little bit more damage out of it. Oh yeah, who in the world decided that this many things would get access to ally switch? That is just not okay. In practice, I was amazed with how well the team was able to make the Shedinja theory come to life. Opponents would often only bring 1 or 2 Pokemon to hit Shedinja just because they couldn't afford to leave their powerful restrictives on the bench without significantly hindering their overall damage output. I only had to take about 2 or 3 KOs on average before the game would be decided. In my tournament matches, Herdier was even bulkier than I imagined. It took hits surprisingly well from big boys like Calyrex Ice, Dialga, Groudon, and more. Shedinja's win condition was almost always something that I could depend on. Because of this reliable win condition, I was able to go 28-5, which was my best record in any online competition to date. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to play all 45 games as I was kind of busy that weekend, so I decided to call it quits after my last loss to a critical hit. But I was able to humbly finish among the top 220 players of the March IC. It's true that many players brought unconventional Pokemon to this tournament just to claim their shiny bird, but for people to see my Herdier and Shedinja in the top 1800s range must have been especially shocking. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my unorthodox team building is supposed to preach a narrative how you should be creative and that real players will win with their favorites, because that would be a lie. The whole point of the team was to act on a critical assessment of the March meta. I wasn't even the only Shedinja user to place well in the tournament. This guy even got to be featured on Aaron Cybertron Zhang's channel. Lucky son of a...
Hey guys.
Anyway, being able to assess and play around whatever is popular has always been a huge part of VGC. And the top players are the ones who are going to be able to adapt and shape the new metas in the future. Am I saying that I'm a top player? Absolutely not. I'm just a guy who was goofy enough to use a Pokemon because it reminded me of my own dog. Hey, this isn't really something I've done before, but I had a lot of fun making it, and I definitely want to do it again when inspiration strikes. That being said, it was admittedly a lot of work. So I would super appreciate it if you would subscribe or follow me on Twitch. They're both free, and they both make me happy. Huge thank you to my buddy Zoich for helping me script this, and to the kind people at Little Root Lessons for publicizing my team and giving it a voice. Okay, bye.